If you want some FIFA 23 coins, please check out MMOXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap and reliable, and if you use code Rema you can get yourself a 5% discount. So what's up guys, my name's Ash and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video guys, I'm going to be showing you a team that I used that only cost 250k and it got me 16 wins in FUT champs. Now, the main reason I'm sharing this video with you guys is to teach you a lesson when it comes to creating your teams if you're not that knowledgeable about what you should go for, and really teach you how to utilize your players to the best of ability. It's also to show you that the game is not strictly pay to win. Obviously, you know, spending money gives you an advantage, but it's not the be all end all, alright? So don't feel like you have to spend FIFA points. Now, just before we get started, I hate to ask this guys, but if you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe if you are enjoying the content, because I've noticed around 90% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed. But yeah, anyway guys, let's get right into the video. Okay guys, so this is the team that I used. Just ignore the positioning and that for now. This is not the exact formation I used. I will show you that any second. But this is the team that I used. Depay was obviously a striker and Gozens was a left wing back, but I converted them because I was changing my team after a pack pull that I got the other day. But yeah, this is the team that I used. The majority of it is completely untradeable, alright? The most expensive player in this team is Valverde, and he was untradeable as well. He costs around 140k. So, the rest of this team, without Valverde, literally costs about 100k. You know, Llorente and Sanchez cost about 60k between them, and the rest of the players are very, very cheap, guys. This Gozens was actually very cheap because he was free. He was an objective, and he's one of the best players I've used in this game. So, the reason I wanted to share this video with you guys is to address something I was getting quite a lot in my live stream, and it was, why are you using a 5 at the back formation? You know, why are you being a rat? And I wasn't. You know, you can say I was if you want to, but I was utilizing my players to the best of their ability. So, what do I mean by this? I didn't want to spend many coins when it came to this weekend league because the market's obviously a mess. And yeah, I just wanted to use what I had in my club. So I picked out the players that I had and really thought about the way I could build a team. And the way you do that is, when I got this Gozens, I looked at his card and most people said he was terrible, okay? And you look at it, it's kind of cool, you know, it's a cool card, but it's not like, you know, a meta centre mid or a meta left back as you will. But you can see he's 6 foot, high medium, left footed. He's got good stamina, good physical stats. You know, he's a high medium, like I said, 3-star, 3-star. And if you give him an architect chem style, he can become lengthy. So when I looked at this Gozens, he's one of those cards where you look at him and you don't think he's really that great at anything, if you get what I'm saying. It's very difficult to choose where to play him. And the thing I suggest with these types of players, guys, is to play them as wing backs. The same thing with Navas over here. You look at him, wouldn't make a great right back, wouldn't make a great centre mid. Not quite good enough to be a winger because there's better options. But as a right wing back, he has that nice, you know, average card to fit it. You know, and he's high medium, 5'8", 4-star skills. You know, basically he wouldn't be a great right back, but as a wing back he actually works very well. So if we look at how this team actually lines up in game, the way I was using it, so these are the tactics I've used. I've already made a video on this, so we're not going to look at that too much. But you can see this is how it lines up. So we've got Gozens and Navas as wing backs. We've got Llorente as a CDM, Valverde and Sanchez as 2 centre mids, and Depay and Leao as strikers. So we're going to break this down a little bit more. Like I said, Navas and Gozens are both high-medium players, okay? And like I said, they're not perfect to play anywhere else other than wing back. The best players to play wing back are those players where you don't think they're good enough to play like centre mid or right back, but you think they'll be good enough, you know, in a wing back position, if you get what I'm saying. So if we look at Gozens and compare him to Llorente, for example, you know, he looks okay. Gozens looks okay, but Llorente looks a lot better. You'd rather have Llorente as a centre mid, if you get what I'm saying. I feel like I'd be wasting Llorente if I put him at wing back. So what I'm saying is the players that you should put at wing back are the players you don't think fit anywhere else, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, the most important thing I want you guys to pay attention to is the work rates of my players. So I said Navas and Gozens are high-medium players. So what does this mean? It means when they're playing in this wing-back position, when it comes to the attack, they will contribute quite a lot, because that's important. If you look at this formation and you get rid of these wing-backs in the attack, you've got very little going forward. The centre mids, you know, they're very narrow, the strikers are very narrow, and that's basically all you've got. The CDM stays back. So the wing-backs are really there to add the width and add that extra essence in attack that you wouldn't have. So having that high work rate on those wing backs is extremely important, because it allows them to contribute to the attack where they maybe wouldn't do if they had, for example, a medium or low work rate. And the medium defensive work rate actually works very well as a wing back, because as you know, a wing back is not necessarily a fullback. So I want these players to defend. I want Gozens and Navas to defend, but it's not their sole job for me. Like, they add defensive support, right? But it's not that important, because I need them to be, you know, there when I need them to defend, but I also need them to focus mainly on the attack, because they're vital to score goals in this formation, because that's where a lot of the plays come from. So that medium work rate actually benefits, because as you can see, Gozens has 88 stamina and a high medium work rate. If he had a high defensive work rate, it would limit his attacking ability in that wing back position, because he would constantly be bombing up and down that wing, and he'd be knackering himself out. And you'd actually find he's not in the perfect positions to attack if he has that high defensive work rate, because he would come back far too often instead of staying in that nice balanced position which you want your wing backs to do. So yeah, that is the first thing I wanted to say. And then now, if you look at the two centre mids that I use in this formation, they are Renato Sanchez and Valverde, okay? So, why did I pick these two players? Well, obviously Valverde is untradeable, but the reason I picked this formation for these players is because, again, look at Valverde's card. High, okay? That's really important for a box-to-box centre mid, and we've got two of them, okay? So that high work rate means they will contribute a hell of a lot to your all-around gameplay. So, let's say Valverde was a high-medium centre mid. He'd be very good going forward, you know, he'd be contributing to the attacks, but he wouldn't be that effective defensively. And in this formation, it's absolutely crucial that you have centre mids that can defend properly. And if you look at his card as a whole, he's very balanced, okay? He's got everything you would want in that centre mid position. He can run, he can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble, defend, and he's got great physical, and obviously 6 foot as well. And he's got that great stamina and that great strength with the lengthy chem style. Similarly with Renato Sanchez, high, very balanced stats, good stamina, and yeah, basically similar to Valverde, okay? And they're both high work rate players in that centre mid spot, which is important in this formation, okay? So when we go back to these custom tactics, another reason I use this formation is because I'm always thinking about the work rates of my players, because the work rates are really important. So if we go to my instructions here, you'll see I have Navas and Gozens on join the attack. Like I said, they're both high-medium players, so that suits me fine. You know, when I need extra defensive support, when my opponent's coming at me, they'll come back. But the main important thing is, if you look at my centre mids, who I said are high, Renato Sanchez, I've got him on the cover wing option, okay? So that means when Navas, who is high-medium, bombs up the attack, right? You know, he goes flying down the wing and we maybe lose the ball. Renato Sanchez, with his high work rate and the cover wing setting, means he's going to cover that space that Navas has left. So it actually works very well, because when we lose the ball, we're not going to be caught out of shape all that too often, because Valverde covers Gozens' position and Sanchez will cover Navas's position, okay? And then that gives us the time for the the wing backs to come back, and yeah, we can go again basically. And as a result, like I said, with that medium work rate, Gozens and Navas will not knock themselves out. So it's all like this nice transition system which works very well in this formation. Now, the one player which is probably out of system, out of position in this team is Marcus Llorente. Now, I have him on cut passing lane, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. And the main reason I use Llorente in this formation is because I still think he's good, even if it's not his ideal role, if you get what I'm saying. I'd be much better suited using, let's say, like a Kessie, you know, like a proper anchor CDM in that position. But Llorente did fine for me. It's okay to have a couple of players that don't have the perfect work rates, but the majority majority of them need to be good, okay? So Llorente, the reason he's not the most perfect CDM is because he's high medium, okay? So that means he's more attacking minded than defensive minded, and that's not really that good for a CDM. If anything, you want them to be medium high, because that means they contribute a lot to defending. You know, they're always there when you need a defensive player, and the medium attacking work rate means they're still, you know, they still offer enough to the attack to kickstart it, but they don't get too involved. So Llorente, although he's a very good card, not a perfect CDM, but he worked quite well for me. The reason I didn't play him as one of the centre mids and put, let's say, Renato Sanchez at CDM is because I needed that high defensive work rate on Renato Sanchez to cover the wing, like I said, for Navas. So what I'm saying is when you build these teams, guys, it is all about the work rates. You have to think about the types of players that you use, because if you don't use the correct work rates on the players, they don't gel together properly. If you look at all these players, they're not really that good, are they? You've got a few good players in here, but the rest of them are dirt cheap. You know, you could go and buy like 100 of them if you wanted to, you know, but the important thing is they play together as a team, and that's because of the way I've put them together. So although the 5-back formation might be unpopular, it worked very well for this team because I really thought about the way that these players would have to play, okay? And that's what you guys have got to do, because you could have Haaland, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, but if they don't have the right work rates and if they don't have the correct abilities for the system you're trying to play, you know, this team could probably beat them, you know. So it's all very important, guys. So don't worry too much about the names of the players you're using. Worry more about how the players play. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, that's everything for the video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you are notified when a video is posted. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.